Welcome to the Mentor Studio, where today's thought leaders and leading entrepreneurs inspire and bring real-world ideas that help you take your career to levels you've only dreamed of. Now buckle in. Here's your host, Michael Silvers.
Hi, everyone. This is Michael Silvers with the Mentor Studio. So glad to have all of you on with us today. If you listen to previous recordings, that's fantastic. If you've heard us before, that's great. Just go to thementorstudio.com. Something I learned a couple weeks ago, which is a great tip, is don't say the www anymore because you don't need to, number one. Number two, that's all people remember, and then they can't remember your website. So I have learned, stop saying www. That's a big piece. We obviously have shows weekly. There's a new batch of shows. There was a little holdup. It was Dropbox mistake, but that's okay. So it's Dropbox. We're worked that, and that's good. We actually have some people on listening live, but everybody's muted out. You won't hear them. And we're so glad to have you as a team, as a community, and really listening to where we're going. Man, I've been on too many calls today. My brain's just going 50 different directions. So let's just get going. My guest today is somebody actually who means a lot to me. We trained for years together on stage. I supported him in any way possible. He did the same thing. He treated the crew and staff like they were all part of the family, which I think is incredibly important. We might tell the story of how we met at a very romantic date down in Australia, right? But you never know what's going to happen. So without any further ado, he's been on stages all over the world. He was one of the top trainers, if not the top, for Mr. T. Harv Eker. He was the first one to come right after Harv. He trained more warrior than anybody on the planet. If you are a Secrets of the Millionaire person or no warrior, you know what I'm talking about. He has created amazing businesses around the planet. Without any further ado, Mentor Studio and podcasters, let's give it up for Mr. Robert Riopel.
Thank you, Michael. Great to see you. It has been too long.
Absolutely. Too long. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because again, there's a lot of this audience who's not going to know who you are, and a lot of them were not going to know who Harv is or any of that. So tell us, do a little your own earn the right, since you're one of the most amazing teachers at teaching how to people to get their earn the right out of themselves.
Well, for me, when I was growing up, I was raised in a very small-minded community of people. But the things we were taught: work hard, stay loyal when you start working for a company. And then that company should take care of you. But especially in times like this, that's not the reality. But that's what I was taught, so that's what I did. And by the time I was laid off from my third job, my mind went, something's not working. And I started to reinvent what I would do, and out of necessity. Michael, they say necessity is the mother of all creation. Out of necessity, I started delivering pizzas for Domino's Pizza, became a manager, then became a franchisee, and thought I had it made. Age 23, owned 2 stores, started making pretty good money. But this started having me spend more money than I was earning. By the time I was a franchisee for 8 years, over $150,000 in debt and going down quickly. And I'll tell you, I had heard about this thing called personal development. But I'm like, from where I grew up, it's like, no, that's a little too out there, a little too woo-woo. Some people need it, you don't. My brother-in-law even had cassette tapes of Tony Robbins that he wanted me to listen to. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm not listening to those, because I didn't believe in it. To me, it wasn't in my reality. But out of necessity, we received tickets to a 3-hour evening, the Millionaire Mind evening. We're blown away. From there, went to the Millionaire Mind intensive weekend, paid $600. A person who's never done personal development, and all of a sudden I'm shelling out $600 each for a ticket. And it's interesting. People go, well, Robert, knowing what you know now, would you do it again? And I'm like, in a heartbeat, I would spend even more, because it was that 3-day training that took my mindset, turned it around, and I was able to go from that $150,000 in debt to actually being able to retire completely financially free 9 months later at the age of 32. And I found my passion. I became an avid student, because I'm thinking, if this little information helped me get that result, what would more information do? And over the next 2.5 years, as I volunteered, ingrained, learned, ingested, and really saw what the potential was, that's when I found my passion. And for the last 18 years, I've been blessed to travel around the world, impact personally over 500,000 people in live trainings. And I've just been loving what I do. I've trained thousands and thousands of trainers. And, I was in India teaching one of the programs I love the most, where we help people find their passion and then learn how to make money doing it. When I arrived home, March 10th, and picture this, Michael, I step on the plane in Mumbai, and it's a 16-hour direct flight to Toronto. I step on the plane, and for the last couple of days, they were taking our temperatures. It was like, yeah, my mind's going, what are we worried about? Nothing. I land in Toronto 16 hours later with customs at the door, not letting people off the plane until they check their passports, and not letting everybody off the plane. And I went, oh, wow, okay, something is changing. I feel blessed I got home before lockdown. And I went into instant isolation at home on March 11th, and my world turned upside down, because all of a sudden all my live events around the world gone. And I tell people, thank goodness, I have other businesses, but my training, my major cash flow comes from. So all of a sudden that's gone. I had a choice. I could go, oh crap, why me? Or I could say, what's next? And one of the things I've learned recently, especially, Michael, and I teach people now, all misery comes from expectation and then attachment. But all happiness comes from courageous curiosity. And if you're willing to have the courage to say, why did this happen? Which is what I did. All of a sudden I realized, for years I've been saying I wanted to get my stuff more virtually online, but I never had the time to do it. And so I went into reinvention mode again. And today I am just loving what I'm doing. I haven't been home for 5 months in a row in over 10 years. And it's kind of awesome. And now we're out camping. I'm in the middle of the woods, but because of technology, I can be here with you. So that's kind of who I am, where I'm at.
Yeah, Rob, what's great too is Rob and I actually met. I knew who Rob was because actually I had gone to Harv Eker's The Millionaire Mind Intensive, the first one I think in Seattle. And if I remember right, you introduced Harv. So, because I remember maybe it was the second one I went to. I went to several. And and did I know that day this you would become the number one trainer for the company, right? At the same time, you could see that there was, when you brought Harv up, you brought him up not just with enthusiasm, but with like power. And I knew that power had to translate one day. And then, because my life turned and I spent so much time in Australia, didn't see you again until we met. Right? We were going to put the Millionaire Mind Intensive on it was Melbourne, right? Was that the first one?
That was.
And I knew coaches down there who actually took Rob and I out for the day and showed us the city. And we got to sort of reinvent ourselves at that point, because we didn't realize that then that would be a long-term, probably for the next 6 or 7 years of working together on stage. But it's that trust and bonding that continues. You have to work with people like, and trust is really critical, especially with the change that's happened now. And I have to say, Rob is one of the best trainers I've ever seen on stage, and I've seen them all. Because he comes from that heart place. And there's actually some people from the Vertical Live listening to this right now, and they're all shaking their heads because they know who Rob is. But, you come from that heart place. And one thing, though, that we always get this question, Rob, and there's been this big change. We've all shifted to the vertical, as we say, but to the virtual. Live events will start again, and some of us are starting to say, okay, but how's my life now changed, and how am I going to bring the bigger picture to the planet to even more people than maybe 5,000 in a room? Now I could be in front of 1 million really quickly. What gets you up every morning? What keeps you going during this time? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it comes back to the passion, Michael. My mission in life is to guide and assist individuals in not only identifying, but living their purpose with passion. And so I learned a long time ago that that's bigger than me, and it's not my decision to stop. It really isn't. So just because COVID put something in my path, I can't use that as an excuse to say, oh, can't live my mission, can't live my passion anymore. It's like, no, how do I do it? And again, necessity being the mother of all creation is what you just said is so true. Because now instead of hundreds in a room or 1,000 when I'm doing live trainings, it's asking a question of how can I still reach out to people globally? Mm-hmm. And with technology today, why wouldn't I? how can I still live my passion, helping other people find their passion? And so what gets me up every day is that I've got this passion that's bigger than me. I've got a mission that's bigger than me, because I've gone through the ups and downs. And when I tried to not live my passion, the universe gave me a very clear message that if you don't, you're going to be gone. You know, if you don't have a purpose and a reason for being here, okay, bye-bye. You know, and it gave me clarity, Michael, of, you know, what have they said for decades? How people who they focus on, their whole goal is to get to retirement at age 65. Their whole goal is to get there. But the majority never set a goal beyond that. And all of a sudden they get to their goal of retirement and pass away within a few short years because they didn't have any other passion. And so now it's like, no, how do you have a lifelong passion? What do we do to keep driving? And so because my purpose is to help people find that passion and then live it, that's what gets me up every single morning.
Yeah, I love it. And that, you know, because we still feel it from you, right? There's not you're out camping, still doing, you know, probably on calls, right? A lot of us there's a lot going on at the same time. That is what gets us up every morning. And that's, you know, and I think I had definitely, because, right, I was on the road up until the 16th or 17th. I was down in Miami, and our hotel went from, I don't know, it was like 90% occupancy to 18%, realizing it changes today. And there was the moment of wow, the whole world I knew and loved and the road, right? We're road warriors, is now different. But because it's realizing we're doing the same thing we love to do, just in a little different way. Right. And in a way, you're creating a bigger impact now than you did before. And you could do what in the next year to year and a half, what took you the last 15 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know? And I think that's a big piece. And the other question that I get all the time is people always say, okay, so this is what gets you up in the morning. We've got your why. That part is locked in. Can you give them right now 3 things, if they never do anything else, never talk to you and I again, 3 things that they can do right now in the next week to month to help move themselves through their mindset or their business? Just 3 strategies, 3, whatever that is, that they can lock onto it now and say, thank you so much, Rob, and they can do it every day.
Well, you know, a big one for me, and I'm going to admit it right here. I am a procrastinator. But because I'm aware of that, instead of trying to have it drag me down, I decided, how do I create a way where I don't have, and I like to say it, if you design a way to live your day so procrastination doesn't have a chance to play, that's what I do. So one of the strategies that I use for me is I will schedule my meetings for early morning. So I have to get up. Because if I don't, then I can sit there, the alarm goes off, and I can go a little bit longer. The alarm doesn't go off, or it goes off again, a little bit longer. So I purposely schedule meetings early in the morning. Wednesdays, the second strategy, accountability. I have an accountability partner. And this started because, when COVID hit, I became an avid student. I've always been a continuous learner, but I dove even more into learning and watching online. What was going on? What were people teaching? Were people out there actually giving value, or was it just, what can we get because we're in a panic? And I started to latch on to the people that were giving sheer value and becoming an avid student, learning. So first strategy, design your day where early morning you're up because you have calls. Second strategy, make sure you have an accountability partner, so I had started where I hold people accountable every Wednesday. Those calls that start at 6:30 a.m. my time, so I'm combining the 2. But now that's me being their accountability partner. But Wednesday nights, I have my accountability partner that holds me accountable. Because I think, Michael, you'll agree, we would be at least twice as successful as we are now if we just did what we said we were going to do.
Yep.
True?
Yep,
so
true, absolutely.
Because I'm a coach and a trainer, I could easily say, I don't need one. I hold other people accountable. No, I've got to do what I'm teaching my students to do. So Wednesday nights, every Wednesday night, I have 2 people that for the last 5 months have been my accountability partners, and we get on a 15-minute call to check in. So that's the second strategy. And then the third strategy for getting more done is IPA. IPA, which stands for income producing activities. See, it's easy to be busy and go, oh my God, look how busy I was today. But especially in this world where incomes are going away or being reduced or reinvention has to happen, it's not about being busy, it's about being productive. So I make sure I am using my calendar on my phone. It is the Bible I live by right now, and I never used to. I'm actually busier today, Michael, than when I was traveling 200,000 miles a year flying around the world, because now I schedule things in, but I'm very, very conscious to make sure I put income producing activities in. So I'm not just busy. I do a lot of give back where I'm teaching where maybe it's not, immediately monetarily coming back to me. So I put in my calendars income producing activities, because if I take my eye off of it, that's when my income will keep going down, and you take all the lost revenue from live events, and now all of a sudden I have nothing replacing it. See, I choose, and this is probably, I'll give you a fourth one. Decide that you don't want your lifestyle to change, that you want it to get better. Mm-hmm. See, I choose not to have to change my lifestyle to meet the lower amount of money coming in. I choose to keep living the lifestyle I love. So then it's, how do I get creative to legally, ethically, and morally replace that income? And so that's kind of would be the 4 different strategies I would give you.
Yeah, and that's great too, because there is that, when you talked about the income producing strategy, that piece is sometimes that's actually, there's fear around that. Because, right, that's the one where people get into, well, if okay, so I'm doing all these things that I love to do and play out in the field, and right, but it's the one phone call I have to make, or the one group that I have to meet. Maybe I have to ask something from them. How do you get through that fear, or what are some strategies around that part?
I go back to the misery quote. Mm-hmm. Expectation and attachment. As every time I put expectation or attachment to it of what will they say, how will they react, what if they say no? No wonder I stress out about it. So I say, you know what? I'm just going to have no attachment to it. I'm going to have that courageous curiosity. And because it's moving me a step forward, even if someone says no, I'm going to learn something from it. And then I'll use that to adjust for my next conversation. Because the moment I decide to quit is the moment I'm done. And so I don't know if that answers the question, but that's kind of how I view it when I go in. Because, I learned this from amazing gentlemen. I changed my view set. And Michael, I'm going to do this as a little quiz. And because I see some people on the call, I'm going to ask them to nod their heads yes or no. You've heard the saying, it's important to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Would you agree? Yeah, and it's very, very powerful. True? And all over the world in my audiences, I say, you're so lucky you're in a room of like-minded individuals. But because of one little mindset shift, I will never say that again. And here's why. See, right now there's 6 people on this call. If they're listening, they can't see that, your listeners. But all 6 of us could be sitting at a bus stop waiting for the bus to come, which means we're all like-minded. We're all waiting for the bus to come. And guess what? That bus is going to take us to the mall. It's not going to make us successful. So how many times, when you talk about environment being stronger than willpower, how many times are you surrounded by like-minded individuals, which is around poverty, scarcity, fear? Have you seen what's going on in the world? Oh my God, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. You're like-minded, and it's not benefiting you. And what he said was this. He says, you want to be surrounded by growth-minded individuals. And the difference is these are the people that are willing to not only support you, that if you stumble, they're willing to pick you up, but they're also the ones that are willing to have the conversations, the tough conversations sometimes, when you're playing smaller than you are. And they're the ones that are going to be willing to kick you in the butt and say, get up, quit screwing around, quit being in misery, and quit being the victim. I know you're better than that. So now I look at it as I want to surround myself with those growth-minded people, because those are the ones that together is going to keep me moving. I can help keep them moving. And yeah, it does take, and Paula, you typed in there, not spending time around, too many people that are negative in that. And sometimes we don't have the choice because they're our closest family, friends, whatever. But we do have the choice of whether we buy into it or not. whether we allow ourselves to take it on or not. And this is where then I can turn around and I can say, maybe send a message, Michael, I need to connect. Are you willing to just get on a call with me? And sometimes it's just a vent. If I may, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm building a team right now, and someone reached out and said, oh my God, I'm so excited. I want to be doing business with you. But I want to get you on a call with my husband too, because he's watched some stuff with me and he has questions. And I'm like, not a problem. We get on a Zoom call. And the first thing she says, I want to let you know my husband's German. And he's very skeptical. Well, I felt like I had been blindsided because all of a sudden him plus another person, they were at a pool party and they were sitting there on Zoom. And all of a sudden they started telling me why I better get lawyers and they just started coming at me. And instead of taking it personally and firing back, because, did I want to say some stuff? I instantly went into coach mode of what I wanted to say. They did just barrage after barrage. And I said, I kept my cool. And I said, I understand that. And here's the answer to your question. And does that make sense? And the woman's like, you really want to do this? What's it going to take? And then her husband said, you have to divorce me. And I said, okay, stop right there. I said, obviously, no, it's not for you. I appreciate your time. And thank you. Have yourselves a great day. And the guy just went off again. I said, thank you very much. And we ended the call. And then I realized I had internalized a lot. There was a lot I was holding on to. So I messaged a friend and I said, I just need to talk. And he didn't get back to me for a bit. So I went from my office upstairs, and Roxanne, my wife, who Michael, you know very well,
very well.
She's looking at me going, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm fuming. And I told her what's going on. And she says, let's get out of here. Let's just go for a drive. Let's go. And we actually went and I bought a golf club, a driver that she found on Marketplace. And she's helped me vent. And all of a sudden, it's a couple hours later, my friend gets back to me. And I'm like, I'm in my vehicle and I connect with him. And him and his wife are there. And I explain what happened. And they started laughing their asses off. They started to laugh their asses off. And my wife started laughing. She goes, I wanted to laugh too, but I didn't think I should. And I'm sitting around like, why are you laughing? And he's like, welcome. He says, it's a perfect learning experience. And just being able to say it, it let me release the energy. And what's cool is a team member of mine the very next day, Robert, I got to talk to you. And she had had a somewhat similar. And when I started laughing, I was able to explain why. And it was less like, and it's, to me, here's family. Family laughs first, help second.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And it's understanding, Michael, that not everybody has the mindset that we do. So I now choose to surround myself with growth-minded people. And that's how, because I'm not better or different than anybody else. My life isn't just rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. I have tough times, but it's how I've learned to get through those tough times that does make the difference.
That's right. And that's, that is that big piece, because it's interesting coming from you. I've always said three coaches, 2 mentors, and a mastermind. And then you need that venting group. But you do. You put that group around you. And the other thing that's really critical, especially for those of you who have organizations, whether it's network marketing or your business, don't vent down. Don't vent to the ones who are new and excited. Make sure you vent to your business partners at the same level or up. That's critical. I mean, I've had that in real estate. A realtor will walk in training new realtors and going, this business sucks. You're taking their dreams away. It's just crazy. So that's a really critical piece. And Rob, it is so important to have those people that surround you.
Without a doubt.
That will keep you going no matter what. I mean, this is coming from the gentleman who walked on stages in front of thousands of people, and the people are thinking, but you're not the guy who wrote the book. Who the frick are you, and what are you doing here, right? So it doesn't matter how much you've done of this. You still need that team around you that you can have those moments and go, just listen. So to sort of dispatch the energy, and then you keep going because it's that thing you love to do. So
yeah.
Rob, any last, by the way, everybody, if you want to reach out to Robert Riopel, see, I've just known you too long. I almost went the other way. My team will be posting a whole bunch of stuff about him. The show will go live in about a month from now, but since you don't know when this is, it'll probably be about mid-September. You'll see information on Rob and all that fun stuff. But Rob, just quickly, if there's somebody who listens to this, is there a simple way to get in touch with you, or a direction or a book you'd like to send them to?
Yeah, look, and here's what I would love to do for your listeners. If you go to succesleftaclue.com/ebook, no hyphen or no dash or whatever, just /ebook, you can actually download the PDF of my book, Success Left a Clue, as my gift to you. That's one of the easiest things. And then I also find me on Facebook. I have Robert Riopel's fan page. Follow me as I do what I do, videos, travel, when we can travel again. I just do lessons, and through that you can message me, you can connect with me, and if there's any way I can be of assistance and service, more than happy to do that.
Fantastic. Rob, it's been great having you on today. I actually miss you. We did a lot together, and we learned a lot together, so there'll be a lot more we'll be doing together in the future.
Through that.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being on this call. For those of you, this is thementorstudio.com. Join it. If you get there, absolutely, the podcasts are all there for you. If you want to be part of the larger community that's really working together as a unit to bring not just personal development, but to bring mindset out to the world, to mentor you through, just go to thementorstudio.com. I want to thank you all for being on, those that are watching. You guys stay on for a second. Rob, you've been amazing. You stay on too. And for you listening to this podcast, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, thank you so much for being on the show. This is Michael Silvers again with The Mentor Studio. Goodbye, everyone.
We're honored that you invested time with us today at the Mentor Studio. Now, don't be greedy. Share this knowledge bomb with all your dope peeps on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Actually, we'll even pay you to do it. To get the deets, please check out thementorstudio.com.